Well, hello, I'm Alex, and today I've got an idea for making zines. So you can use this simple zine format to develop a daily practice. It's small, it's little, you can take it with you anywhere you go. It's perfect for prompts, and it's perfect for when you don't have time. You know how I'm always saying, it's easy to spend a few minutes a day in creative play. I'm sure some of you are like, well, it's easy for you to say you're an artist. So, I'm making these videos for you to take play breaks with me. This is your creativity timeout, baby. Just grab whatever supplies you have on hand, work alongside me, don't worry. I'm keeping this no fuss fabulous, easy peasy. Go ahead, check it out. Hello. Today I've got another daily play with zines and stamping video for you. Today we're playing with patterns. So let me very quickly go over the supplies you need for all the stamping videos. It's the same supplies, but here we go. You're gonna want a zine. If you don't know how to fold a zine, I've got a video for you called How to Fold a Zine. And you'll need your stamp making supplies, of course. So what are we talking about? We're talking about Eva craft foam, the one with the sticky back. We're talking about some kind of support. I like to use a very strong cardboard that's still thin enough for me to cut with scissors, so you need your scissors. You're going to need your stamp pads. If you only have one color, that's fine. If you have more colors, that's even more fun. And you're going to need some scrap paper and a pencil, a sharp pencil. Here we go. So we're all set. We've got our supplies. What are we doing today? Well, if you watched the previous video about how to make Eva foam stamps, you may have already made these stamps, which are these guys. So I had made samples, which are these guys. So I call this the 3-line stamp. This is the double triangle stamp, and this is just a star inside a circle stamp. And I had made these as samples, and then in the video we actually made them again, but this time we used the cardboard as a support. If you do have any wooden supports that you can repurpose to make new stamps with, go ahead. Or if you happen to have little bits of wood, you might like that better than using the thin cardboard. So here we go. These stamps might be a little big for the zine format, which is this. So I went ahead and played around with patterns just to give you an idea of what we're going for here, and then we'll make a bunch of stamps and then you can play. So just using, so we're going to make this one today, which I call the bridge with a cutout. So this would be a bridge stamp, and this one has a small piece on the inside here, so you get that white line. You get the paper showing through, basically. So you can alternate two different stamps. Here I'm alternating the double triangle stamp with the 3-line stamp. Of course, you can keep adding to it, keep playing with the idea of rotating your stamps as well. So you can see the last two here, I rotated the 3-line stamp, and I think I did the same thing here. I was stamping this one like this, and then here I turned it over. So once you start playing with either rotating the the stamps or how many stamps you combine, it's pretty, I mean, it's just endless what you can do. This is just one stamp, the new one for today, if you've made the others. And here we're just rotating it. We just keep rotating it as we stamp. And depending on how big your paper is, I could only get, 3 columns this way. On this, if you're using a zine, you'll get 3 in there perfectly for sure. So keep your zine format in mind in terms of how big to cut your foam, how big or how small to cut your foam. This is just the 3 line. I mean, this is just so pretty. This is just the 3 lines here. And either putting it horizontally or vertically as you go, and then alternating. And this is the same with the triangles. The triangles one, the closer you can get it as you stamp, the more interesting this is, because the negative space, the paper, is also a triangular shape once you start stacking these. So it's more obvious if you can get them closer together. So this is why I always say, if you want the support that your foam is stuck to be cut as close as you can to your design, because it makes it easier to place your stamps, especially if you're trying to keep them all nice and close together. Anything else? Here is the bridge design, which is like this one, except the little archway here is empty, and this is also a lot of fun to just keep rotating as you stamp. And then I wanted you to have kind of a wild card stamping play. So using a long triangle, it's a little bit more freeform, so I want you to play with that. What can you do with a long triangle? Can you alternate? Can you alternate them as you stamp them, but try to keep them in columns, or do you just start? Do you try to line certain things up, like corners and points? Do you try to make stars, or do you just go crazy and fill the page and see if some kind of repetition is happening? And here's a combination of the 2 bridges, the one that's got the bit on the inside and the one that doesn't, and playing with those. And I think that's about it. So why don't I put this away? Oh, and one last supply you might need are some wipes. I mean, you'll definitely need these when it comes time to clean. So let's get going here. Here's my zine. I picked this sort of cream colored paper. And let's just quickly make all these stamps in case you've never made them. Now, if I'm making a stamp you already have, look to see if you need to make it again smaller or larger. And if the stamp you have is perfect for your zine format, then go ahead and make a different stamp while I'm showing how to make something you already have, if that happens to be the case. All right? So let's do this. I'm going to grab some green foam, and we're just going to cut a strip like we always do. And now we're going to cut squares. So let me put this away. I've already cut this one, so cut a triangle shape. It's pretty easy to do. And then I'll just need, I think I need one more square here. Perfect. Check it out. Okay, if you're making a star or anything inside a circle, we're actually etching the star with a pencil, but first we have to cut the circular shape out of our foam. Remember, you can always draw on the back side, so to cut 2 triangles, you might want to draw 2 lines from corner to corner. And then cut out 2 of the triangles. You actually end up with 4 triangles this way, but you can do that. Actually, check this out. This one's still sort of attached. All right, but we're going to use this one because that way we can line up the points better. When you're doing strips, you don't even need to start with a square. You just need something you can cut 3 strips out of. And then when you stick them on, you'll leave space between those. Does that make sense? To do the bridge, so let's do this one first. So I'm going to come in here, and all you do is cut out like a rounded door, you know. You just cut that shape out, and then you get this shape, and I call this a bridge. On this one, we're going to do that as well. Oops, I just made it maybe a little bit too short. I'm going to grab another square because I just trimmed that, I think, a little bit too much. Okay, so starting over with this one, cutting out the part that's underneath the bridge so that it looks like a bridge. So basically just made the same thing twice. And I'm actually going to make this a little bit bigger so that I have space to stick. So the bit I cut out of here, I'm actually going to stick it in here. I'm going to trim it a little bit. So that's going to be the one stamp, and this is the other one, and this one I might make a little bit smaller. So there you go. We're all set. These are all the stamps I want you to have. Of course, you can play with any other kind of stamps you want to make, but I think these would be fun. So I'm going to put one stamp, one of these on the cardboard for you to see how this works. And then from then on out, I'm just going to show you how to play with making patterns. So, well, let me do 2 since maybe you haven't seen me do any etching. So you could do the etching first, or you could do the etching after you get it on your support, which is what's going to happen now. So trim around your design, so trim around your foam. You're trimming your support away, which helps you when it comes time to stamp. So this circle is on a support, and let's see, how about we do the 2 let's see, one I haven't done before. How about we do this guy on a support? So sometimes you can cut your support first. I always tend to stick my foam on. And then cut the support. Okay. And I wanted to show you how to make one more stamp, which is the cross stamp. So first of all, we've got 2 more final steps to these 2 stamps. So both of these are on supports, remember. This one I still need to stick on this little piece of foam that I had cut out from this bridge to make this design. So there's that. So this one is on a support. It's my bridge with a cutout. This one's supposed to be the circle star, so take a sharp pencil and carefully, go slow. You're basically drawing into the foam, but you're pushing down, so you're etching the foam as you go. You might want to do it twice, just to make sure that you get a nice line. And now I do the star on the inside, so I just make a star like this. okay? So you can etch any of these. If you wanted to add lines or dots or anything to any of your foam, just remember you've got your sharp pencil for etching. So I showed you how to do some etching. This is a composite stamp with a bridge and a little cutout here. Let's do this guy real quick. So another piece of foam. And I'm actually going to cut it down because I think that cross is a little bit big. Again, look at the size of your zine, which will depend on the size of your paper, and see how big or small you might want to make your stamps. So to cut across, basically you're cutting out 4 tiny little squares from each corner, right? And then what you're left with is a cross, right? So that's pretty straightforward. So I'm cutting out these little bits here. I like to save my bits. I mean, if they're super small, I might not find them. But I have a tin where I keep all the little bits I cut out. And then sometimes I go in there looking for small bits. Okay, so here's the cross. So one last example of how to stick it onto your support. And I'm not going to bother to cut this out anymore. This one I went ahead and cut around the design, but it's okay as long as my square here is cut pretty, as long as my support is cut close to the design. I don't need to worry about that. So here's that. All right, so let's start with the ones I've put on supports, obviously, and do some stamping. So I'm gonna grab 3 colors. I've got blue, red, and black. And let's just play with rotating. So let's play with rotating. So let me grab this guy. Yeah. And make a little space here. All right, here we go. Using the black, I'm gonna add some ink to it just because I know it's gonna need it. Same color, same stamp, and all we're doing is rotating. I like to wet my fingertip with my wipe a little bit because for some reason it helps me. It helps me. And then the scrap paper, as you can see, the ink is building up. Stamp pads tend to dry out, so they're not evenly, the ink isn't evenly spread around. But this is very dark now, so I know this will be fine. But I tend to do a test first. All right, same stamp. All I'm doing is playing with rotating. So I went this way, now I would go this way. Don't worry about going off the page. I actually think it makes it interesting. And then it would be this guy again. This guy. And then I need to go up. So this could be one day, right? If you've been following the Daily Play with Zines videos, I always say you've got the first day is your setup. In this case, you're gonna need your materials and you're gonna want your stamps ready to go. So you might need to make a few, or maybe you've already got a bunch. And you just need to make one. And then the rest of the week you can just fill one page, you know? This is You can just fill one page of your zine. That's your, come up with an interesting pattern on one page. Now, if this went really fast, because that is the stamping takes time to make the stamps and it takes time to clean the stamps, but the actual stamping goes pretty fast. So if this went really fast and you want to do 2 pages, go for it. Maybe instead of completing 1 zine per week, you complete 2. Totally up to you. All right, so here we've played with just one shape, alternating the shape, repeating the shape, but alternating the position as we go when we played with just one color. Okay, how about we do a double spread, but we use 2 colors. We're going to use red and blue. I'm going to go ahead and add my inks because I know these guys are drying out. Okay, so that should be good. I'm sort of going overboard here, but just for the sake of the video. All right, 2 shapes that we can combine. So hopefully you made the 3 lines one and the double triangle one, and let's do these guys. So we'll pick the red for the 3 lines. So sometimes you need to add extra in here. Okay, so this is starting to look better. So I'm going to alternate, and I'm going to put down a red one, and then I'm going to put down a blue one. Again, and we just go like this. So we're just using 2 stamps, we're not rotating any of them, we're just playing with the colors and the 2 designs coming together, right? Well, now you could try just using 1 stamp, but rotating. So here we rotated in all 4 directions, but what if you just rotate horizontally and vertically? So this is the one where I mentioned before, if you can keep it nice and close, you get an interesting design. So I'm just rotating vertically and horizontally, alternating. There you go. So that's fun too. So maybe this is one day for you because it goes so fast. Alright, real quick, the final step, how to clean your stamps. So what you want to do is grab a wipe or 2, and the first thing you do is you stamp it out on your scrap paper. Try to get as much stamping ink off as you can. Then you grab your wipe and you clean off what's left. Keep stamping it out until it looks like it's all gone. And that's it. So that's what you need to do for all your stamps. Okay, I hope you had fun taking this tiny play break with me. Be honest, it was super easy. You know, when it comes to your creativity, it's never about what you're making. It's about how you feel while you're making it, right? Okay, I've got lots more videos on my YouTube channel here, so subscribe, stay tuned, play. Come back and get your daily dose of make stuff feel good energy. Thank you so much for being here.